Hey guys, it's James. You can probably tell by the video title, I'm going to show you guys. I haven't been doing a lot of paracord videos lately. Been kind of busy with other stuff, but I'm going to try to get a couple of these knocked out. That way you guys can see some of the different weaves and stuff I do. This one is going to be considered the ladder rack. It's basically, I'll show you, this is the sling I built. It's basically that weave right there. That's a 2-color. Yeah, so basically you get your core, just a 2-core in the middle. Let me see if I can zoom in. So you want to take your green up and over the 2-core, and then you want to take your yellow, which is your left, around the green on this side, so up under the green and under the bottom. So again, you want to take your green, up and over, and you want to take your yellow up and bring it down under the green and then under the core and back through. So you end up like that. And like I said, this knot is only hard to get it started. Once you get it started, it's easy. Let me fix my start up here. But once you get, like I said, once you get it started, and don't worry about the slackness of it. And I want to tell you a tip right here. I always take my jig a 1/2 inch from what it's supposed to be. That way when I get going a couple passes, I could tighten my jig a 1/2 inch and it'll tighten the whole core up. That way I can weave a lot easier. So anyways, once you get that, pinch that off. Take your green, which is your left, go over the yellow, under the core, and back through. Then you take your core, your yellow on the right, under the green, over and across the one you just laced, across this green you just laced, under the yellow left, so you're like that, and then back through. This is awkward as hell trying to do this on camera. I normally have the vise sitting up on the bench in between my legs, so and you want to make sure you get this nice and snug. Alright, I'm going to try this one more time. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. It's a little too close. Let me try this. So you take your left, which is your yellow in this case. You got your yellow over, under the core, over the green. So it should look like that. Then you take your right, which is your green, go under the green, over the core and the yellow that you just crossed, and back under the yellow. And that's all you do, and then you'll end up like this. and you just snug the last one you did and then tighten the previous. Grab the core, push up, grab the core, push up, and then snug it up. And don't worry about how tight it is yet, guys. I'm going to show you a trick. Again, now your green's on your left, go over the yellow, under the core, and over the green. So you end up like that. Now you got your yellow from your right side. Go under the green, over the core, and over the one you just did, and back out. Again, tighten your top one up, bring these up. Take your time because your cord's going to get twisted. You want to make sure you keep pushing. Just take your time. You'll get the hang of it, but if not, your cord right in here will get all twisted around. And if it's twisted, you can tell when it starts to twist. Like right here, it's twisting. If you come back over that, twisted, it's going to leave like this funky bend in it. So you want to make sure you keep your core, or you keep your leads straight and untangled. So again, your left's coming out here. Always lead with your left, or whatever side you lead with that time, every time. So I'm leading, starting with my left every time. Over the yellow, under the core, over the green. And here's an example. See how it's twisted right there? You want to go ahead and untwist that. Get it nice and straight. Then you take your green, which is your right, under the green, over the core and over the yellow, and then back out. Snug it, snug the last one you did up again, pull it up, push it, pull it tighter, push it up, pull it tight. Again, I'm gonna go a couple like I normally would, so just follow along. I gave you 3 or 4 passes, slow motion. So under the core and over. See how it's twisted right there? You just want to take your cord. Alright, now I got a couple passes. You can see that. Well, remember I shortened it up. This bracelet's supposed to be 9.5. And on these bracelets, guys, I always add, if they want to, I'm making right now an 8-inch bracelet. I always add 1.25 inches to my ladder racks. I'm giving you guys some tips of the trade, so pay attention to that. I always add 1.25 inches to the ladder racks, and unless you go like a size 11 wrist, it starts fluctuating there. You don't add as much because the diameter is bigger. But on anything from a 6 to a 8, I add 1.25 inches. Anything over 8, 9, 10, I add like 1 inch. 3/4 inch to 1 inch. But alright, so that's where we're at. So now this is an 8-inch bracelet. So I need to take it to a 8-inch. So it should be 9.25 is what I'm making it. But I backed it off that 1/2 inch. That way I could tighten it up. Now you can see what it's doing to that core. See how it's sloppy right now? When I tighten that up, that core goes tight. So now I'm at 9.25, what I should be. Started off at 8 for the bracelet. 10.5 or 9.25 will give me my 1.25 inch. Then I backed it down to 8 3/4, and then I just tightened it up to 1/2 inch. So I just added, I'm making an 8-inch bracelet, so I added 1.25 inches. That's all I did. Alright, see now it's nice and tight. Now when I pull these through, it's nice and snug. See that? How nice and tight that is? And it's less slop. It gives me less slop that I got to worry about, and it's nice and tight. And when I go to pull my bracelet, now I could shove all this forward on the jig. You could take your fingers and actually shove that weave tight all the way. I mean, that's tight now. There's no slop in that. It's nice and, it's almost like a guitar string kind of. But anyways, I'm going to stop this and then I'll show you when I get to the end. Alright guys, I'm down here to the bottom I work with my jig upside down, or not upside down, my bracelet upside down in the jig. You can see the buckles, how they curve, they go that way. So the bracelet, and I worked with it that way in the jig, so it's upside down in the jig. So anyways, take your buckle on the inside. You'll take this one, since this one's coming out right here in the middle, and just go down one, and inside there, it helps if you have a fit on this. I go down about 6 or 7. I mean, you can go down as far as you want, just whatever you feel, and pull it through. I take a pair of needles, pliers, and take it. My hands are slippery. Make sure you're not twisted, because when you go to pull it through, it's going to do what it's about to do to me. And here toward the end, it'll start to curve a little. You got to flatten that out. You don't want it so tight that it's starting to curve. You want it flat, consistently flat. And here in the middle, it's going to curve a little, but you can flatten that out. This will move. You can flatten that curve at your out where it's like lumpy. So you got your bottom one hanging out here, and then you got your green one. On this green one, I like to take it, wrap it around. See how this is the inside of the bracelet? Wrap it around like it's another piece of the arm. So out here it looks just like another extension. Then take it, shove it right next to the yellow, and go down the same. I always take a rag and hold it on the end of the fid, because it kills my hand to push on the end of that fid. So you got your yellow or your green coming out with your yellow. And take your pliers, pull it on through. Now this one, you don't want to tighten it super crazy, because you don't want it to snug all that up. You just want it to be nice. And so now, actually it's a little too tight. See how it's tapering inward? Pull this one back out a little bit. Now flatten your tuck out. Or you tucked it, it's going to be bulged a little bit, but nothing you can do about that. You just don't want it so tight that it starts to bulge like that. And there you go. That's your end. There's your starter end. And there's your tucks. Then you just take your scissors, cut it off as close as you can. And you can leave those frayed right there. I just take a lighter, which I don't have mine with me. I just take a lighter and just clean the frays up. That way it doesn't fray crazy. And then just bend it backwards, and it'll pull it back in there. Well, there you go, guys. That's how you do the ladder rack bracelet. 2-color ladder rack bracelet. Same color with or same concept with the 1 color. You just same weave, just 1 color instead of 2. You don't join your colors together. And there you have it. I mean, you can flatten this out more, and it's going to look awkward too. You get it on the wrist for a while. I always roll it. See how it gets kind of awkward shape. But once it gets on somebody's wrist for a little bit, it'll conform. There you go. That's your 2-tone ladder rack.